Hey, Kage back again. Today we're gonna read an article about Skull and Bones and then I'll share my thoughts on the game itself alongside it. So let's get into it. It's no secret that Ubisoft's seafaring pirate game Skull and Bones, which was first revealed way back in 2017, has endured a troubled development. Originally conceived as an expansion to Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, then an MMO spin-off, and finally an independent project that suffered numerous delays. It's understandable for players to be concerned about the upcoming action game where naval warfare and piracy are placed front and center. But after numerous hours sunk into the recent closed beta, I'm happy to report that I came away from the experience much more confident that we'll be getting a worthy successor to Black Flag's awesome buccaneering ways, with a much more interesting story than I was expecting. Some really appetizing RPG systems in place, and smooth and entertaining naval combat. Skull and Bones is looking pretty damn fun, and it prepares to finally set sail at long last. Well, let's see. I highly doubt it's gonna be a worthy successor to Black Flag. First of all, some of the combat decisions that they made. For example, in Black Flag you had naval combat, plus you could board the ship and have ship combat, on deck combat, on foot combat otherwise said, and you could go around the islands and explore. In this game, from what I've seen so far, it's basically a ship simulator, or more accurate, a ship battle simulator. Even Sea of Thieves is better. At least there you can explore the islands and stuff. Board the enemy ships. This is a pirates game only in name. It's a naval combat simulator. All you can do is ride around your ships and, or should I say sail around your ships and do ship combat. That's it. That's as much as you can do. But let's read on the article. Following up on the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag from way back in 2013, Skull and Bones is an open-world tactical action game where you play as a pirate captain set loose on the high seas during the golden age of piracy and unfettered capitalism. After suffering defeat at the hands of some water narcs and finding myself washed ashore, my journey of notoriety started from humble beginnings aboard a piece of glorified driftwood, all the way to a massive ship with enough cannons to fight off an army. The story placed me in the Indian Ocean, where I joined the crew of pirate legend John Sparlock and began running jobs in my pursuit of wealth and power. I'll admit that I expected very little from the story, but was pleasantly surprised by the memorable cast of characters and extensive dialogue in between action-packed stretches of robbery and oceanic misdeeds. Maybe the story will be something in this game. Can't really talk about it. The story, didn't experience it in the game, so there's nothing for me to add on that. Much more interesting though were the shockingly deep RPG progression systems, which included survival game elements that had me collecting raw materials to build my ships, and an extensive loadout system where I could customize every aspect of my vessel, from functions to cosmetics, including designating my very own lemur co-captain to the ship, which is obviously the most important part. Unlocking new schematics to build more powerful ships, different varieties of cannons and other game-changing add-ons and accessories became an absolute obsession, and I poured all the silver and ill-gotten booty I could into turning my ship into the ultimate tool of destruction. There's a dizzying amount of unlockables and configuration that goes into each vessel, and I could see myself easily losing many more hours optimizing my tools of trade. Beyond that, I also spent a fair bit of time and silver on my pirate captain's appearance, and while the starting options during the beta were terribly extensive, years of playing Sea of Thieves has taught me the importance of striking fear into the hearts of my enemies by looking as intimidating as possible. Customization sounds fun and all, but we'll see how Ubisoft manages to monetize all of that. It's Ubisoft. At this point, when you play a Ubisoft game, you can expect monetizations for customization items and potential game enhancers. Let's continue. Of course, the crown jewel of Skull and Bones is in its naval combat, and like Black Flag before it, this game seems to absolutely nail that element. Even in this early beta phase, because I had to place different weapons on different sides of my ship. Mobility was key to winning the day, as I could fire from one end of the ship, then rotate to unload a different cannon while the first one was being reloaded by my crew. Watching a ship sink down to Davy Jones in a massive, fiery explosion is a sight to behold, and jumping aboard a weakened enemy ship awarded so much appreciated extra loot. Now I'll clarify one thing about the jumping ship part. It's basically once you have destroyed the ship, you have the option to go and board it, and then you're gonna have a cutscene initiated where your crew members go and loot the ship. And that's as much as boarding you're gonna get. You're not gonna get no sword fighting, no gunfights, no nothing. You will not get the chance to swing over to the enemy ship, board it, and have a sword fight, gunfight, whatever. That's not gonna be it. It's just gonna be a cutscene when you sail next to the ship and you press the button E or something, and voila, your cutscene is there, and that's that. I also enjoyed just how brutally difficult my adventures on the high sea could be, with the different areas locked at different difficulties, meaning a voyage too far into uncharted waters could leave me pursued by a ship far beyond my capabilities or stuck in a thunderstorm that could spell my imminent demise. This formula was especially exciting when played among friends, and having after two of my most trusted despoilers join me in a bit of piracy made for some wonderful added chaos. My favorite activity was plundering, where my friends and I attacked a settlement from the coastline, then held off waves of increasingly challenging enemy ships as we accumulated loot. I'm not surprised that Skull and Bones seems like it's going to pull off ship-to-ship combat so well, given its Black Flag origins. But I'm definitely surprised that it seems like it might actually blow it out of the water with interesting activities and a much-needed co-op component. I don't doubt that the ship combat will be fine, but this is a pirate game, not a naval warfare simulator. Pirates boarded ships, went on the islands, plundered and stuff, and all this pirate lore with treasures and stuff. It's not there. Sure, there might be some treasure stuff there, like go to this island, there will be a treasure, but you're not gonna be able to explore the island. You're gonna have another cutscene where the guy finds something and you're gonna be on your way. There's not gonna be much else besides you sailing in the sea on a ship. And of course, ship combat. Now, I do like the aspect of co-op in this game. I wish a lot more games would be co-op games, especially some games that look like they should be co-op but they're usually a single player one. But let me read this last article a bit. After a good chunk of time climbing the ranks of notoriety in Skull and Bones beta, I'm more excited to dive into the full experience than I was even way back when it was announced at E3 all those years ago. Yes, hoping it will make it safely to shore in the coming months. If they didn't have the contract with the government, they would have long gone abandoned the game. In my opinion, back in like 2014 or something, like the early years of its development, it looked way better than it is currently. The ships looked better, they weren't like fantasy type ship where there's giant ass battles on the ship that don't make sense. But again, that's not a bad thing. Customizations are nice and all, but what is a bad thing, back then everybody thought it would be boarding the ships, raiding your enemy ships and so on, but then we finally got the game a bit and it was way different. Back then they even had people saying what they would want. They had the formula, that everything. They had the player base tell them what they wanted, and then they turned around and did the complete opposite of what their player base wanted. So, all in the end, this is basically a naval ship simulator with a pirate skin on it. Not really a pirate simulator. It is not a pirate game if you only have ship combat and some cutscenes in between. That's a very lazy way of having a pirate game. I know of a pirate game that's being done by a small studio that's already better than this. Its name is Pirate Simulator if you want to look it up. I think it was somewhere on Steam. But that already looks better than Skull and Bones. For example, the YS new game that's gonna be releasing, it has even more goddamn stuff to do on a ship than a pirate focused game. But oh well, that's it for today guys. I'll see y'all next time.